So, hey everyone, really glad to have the Superfluid team here at EtherPunk. And today we have Francesco, co-founder and CEO at Superfluid, Meow, who's the co-founder and CTO, and also Patrick, who'll be taking up the session. He's a developer evangelist at Superfluid. So really excited about all the super cool things that all of you are going to build on Superfluid. They have 2,500 USD worth of prizes to give away, and yeah, looking forward to it. And I'll let Patrick take it up from here. Over to you, Patrick.
Thank you, Denver. So welcome everybody. Today we are going to build a holy grail, and this holy grail is going to be passed around to different accounts on Ethereum, and whoever holds it gets an endless stream of DAI. So before we jump into the actual example and show you how to code it, I just want to impart a couple bits of wisdom. If you're new to Ethereum and you want to build on Superfluid, that's great. If you're new to Ethereum and you don't want to build on Superfluid, you can still take this away from the presentation. We hope that you will build with us, but of course, you have a lot of options at these hackathons. So the first thing is blockchain is hard, but you can do it, okay? So whatever industry you're coming from, whatever background you have, whatever software development that you've been working on, this stuff ain't easy, okay? So I want you to start small with anything that you're building. Build the smallest minimum viable product, build a small prototype first. If you have 5 features that you want to build for a hackathon, pick one of them, do that, get that down, get it running, and then add the other ones, okay? Because I don't want you to get frustrated. I don't want you to get stuck trying to build something that's too big. The second piece of wisdom is ask for help. There's plenty of resources out there to ask for help, to get questions. And the main one that I use, honestly, is Discord. So jump into the Discord channels, use the search feature, put in the keywords that you're running into, and you'll probably find something there. Stack Overflow is great, but Discord is kind of more fresh, right? It's like recently what people have been having trouble with. And not only that, but then we have our Discord where, me and Fran and Meow and Mike are all sitting patiently waiting your messages, and we'll have a link to the Discord in this presentation. Right now, if you go to the Discord channel for us in the hackathon server, you'll see you can tag us and you can talk to us right now, and the link to this presentation is there. So if you're watching live or on recorded, I would suggest go to the presentation now so that you can get all these links. Third piece of wisdom. Stay in Remix. So I'm going to give you some tools during this presentation, and you can build a whole app and make a submission using all the tools I'm going to give you today that we're actually going to use in this presentation. So I would stay there, and the reason is because you might be tempted to jump ship to another set of development tools, and if you're new, this is going to be very frustrating. And I would suggest, honestly, staying in Remix. There's so many resources available in there. You can learn how to use Ethereum. You can you can like use all these debugging tools. I mean, there's a ton of resources in the Remix app that we're going to use today. I would stay there and don't jump ship to another development setup until you really hit the limits of Remix, and then you'll have a much better hack. The last one is be safe. Hopefully you're going to walk away with some prize money at the end of the hackathon. And if you're new to Ethereum, people might not have told you this yet, but there is a lot of phishing going on. And so what I never want you to do is I never want you to go to your MetaMask and reveal the seed phrase. So I'll show you kind of, if we go into our settings, you're going to see there's this 12-word seed phrase. And I never want you to click this button and give this to anyone. Don't put it into any forms anywhere. Don't put it into any apps. Okay, this is your private keys. If you give this to somebody, they're going to steal all your precious prize money that you worked hard to get during this hackathon. So just keep that in mind going forward, that you don't need to give this to anyone. And if somebody asks for it, you've got a problem. This person is not who they say they are, probably. Okay, so those are the parts of wisdom that I want to give you if you're new to Ethereum or if you're, been here for a while. So we are going to jump into the presentation now. Like I said, we are going to build a holy grail. So if you don't have MetaMask yet, please go to metamask.io, metamask.io, and download that. And I'm going to give you a little bit of time to catch up if you need that during the next couple of slides. So while you're working on downloading that, we're going to talk about what Superfluid is, and then we're going to jump into the example. Okay, so Superfluid is a new token framework. Superfluid tokens are a new DeFi primitive, adding functionalities to the ERC20 tokens. So ERC20 is what is the standard token that most applications use. That is, it's a basic token, allows you to transfer it, and it essentially just holds value in a contract. And so you can say, okay, I have 100 tokens, Bob has 100 tokens, Carol has 100 tokens. It allows us to transfer them together. And what Superfluid is it sort of takes this basic functionality and adds a lot of additional features to it. So the first one is money streaming. So we can set up a flow of funds from one account to another in a single transaction, and that will run in perpetuity until I run out of funds or can no longer support that stream. And this is very cool because typically we have to transfer tokens in a single transaction at a time using just the ERC20 standard, right? And this wraps ERC20 and gives you all these extra features. So I can set this up once and it's just going to keep running. And it's in real time as well. So it's not, it's per second. So I can define how many tokens flow to, Carol every second or every month or every hour. The second feature is reward distribution. And this is the ability to send a lump sum of tokens to multiple recipients. So this is similar to the transfer function on ERC20. We can send funds not only to one person, but we can send it to multiple people at the same time in a single transaction. And so this, if you're familiar with some Ethereum terms, this is similar to what we're calling an airdrop. But it could also be distribution of rewards to, say, members of your company or members of your DAO. And you simply give shares to people and divide, this is how I want the tokens to be distributed. And then I call the function and then it happens and the tokens flow out according to the proportions that I've set for everyone. The next one is batch calls. So we can trigger multiple things to happen instead of just calling one function at a time. And contract callbacks. The ERC 777 standard allows us to trigger things to happen when tokens are transferred and when certain things occurred. So typically, if you send tokens to a contract, the contract doesn't know that it received tokens. But with the ERC 777 standard, we can have it say, okay, hey, if the contract receives tokens, I want you to do X, Y, Z. I want you to trigger some additional logic to happen. Okay, so let's go into super apps. A super app is what we're going to be writing together today or deploying together today. This allows you to do things like create and update and delete streams automatically, and it enables the ERC 777 functionality, and it allows you to implement callbacks easily. And so we'll go over kind of like what a callback is later. So for instance, if you have your super app in the middle, and this is just a set of contracts, you can trigger something happens, like say when an incoming stream comes in, I want to do certain thing and then send another stream out. And that's actually what we're going to build today. So if you want to get ideas for the hackathon on how to build a super app, go to hack.superfluid.finance. And there is a bunch of resources there for getting connected with other teams who have ideas. And then also just ideas without teams. So if you're just not sure what you want to build, hack.superfluid.finance is a great place to start. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to jump over to app.superfluid.finance. And if hopefully you have MetaMask set up by now. If you don't, you might need to rewatch this later when you do. So once we have our MetaMask set up, we're going to go to this, and this is the dashboard for Superfluid. And here we're going to mint some free test tokens, and then we're going to be able to monitor and create some streams. So I'm going to go there now. It's going to ask me to connect my wallet. And I'm using a fresh account that I don't think has ever interacted with the app. So you should be able to see, you should see kind of what I'm seeing. So I've already unlocked my wallet, but it will ask you to unlock your MetaMask. And now it's going to ask you to claim your test token. And so as our gift to you during the hackathon, we're going to give you test tokens, which allow you to test out the protocols and transactions, etc., without paying for anything. So this is a free testnet version of the main Ethereum network. And you may need to actually change your network to Goerli before you can do this. I would change now if you haven't. And then you're going to be able to claim some test tokens. And what this is going to do is just going to send you some free testnet Ethereum. So you'll be all set up. And it's also going to give you some things like DAI and that sort of thing. So if we go into currencies, we see that we have 1,000 DAI or FDAI, fake DAI. And we are going to deposit that into Superfluid. In essence, we are going to take our normal ERC20 DAI and convert it into DAI X, which is this special super DAI that we've wrapped. And this is going to give us all those additional features that I talked about earlier. So this is taking and going beyond just the ERC20 and giving you the additional features like streaming and rewards distribution, and allows you to interact with super apps, etc. Okay, so we are going to allow Superfluid to spend our DAI, and then once that processes, we will deposit it into Superfluid, or wrap it is another term. So testnet transactions can take a little bit. There we go, there's the first one. And we should get a pop-up here for the second one. Great, okay, so you'll have time during the next couple of slides to catch up if you're behind. That's all we're going to do for now. We're just going to deposit. And if you want to see, then now your balance will populate in the Superfluid dashboard, and you'll see this is now Superfluid enabled DAI. So now we have these superpowers. We can do some great stuff. So we'll go back to the presentation, and you can catch up during the next couple of slides. We'll come back to the dashboard later to do some things like check out our streams. Okay, so other tools and resources. Before we get into the demo, we have a JavaScript SDK, and you can install this from NPM, just like any normal package. And what we've done is we've made it super easy for, say, in your front end that you're building, to create streams, to update streams and delete them, as well as perform instant distributions, which are those reward distributions that I was talking about. So in the example here, we are initializing the we're initializing the SDK. We're providing the version of the contracts that we want to use. We are providing our Web3 provider, and if you don't get to this level, that's totally okay. You're not going to need this for today, but I just wanted to let you know that it's here. And then once we've set up the SDK, we can create a new user. and we just provide the address of the user and the address for the token that that user is going to be using. In this example, it's fDAI, which is our fake DAI that we're working with today. And then we just create a flow by calling bob.flow. So that's our user.flow, and then provide the recipient and the flow rate. And we'll understand a little bit more about flow rate later, but this is in tokens per second. So this is equivalent to 100 tokens per month. And this SDK is also going to be helpful if you are going to be running tests, because it will set up a new development environment for you, such as like on your local Ganache, and provides everything you need to do some testing. Docs. So we have docs at docs.superfluid.finance. We have some getting started stuff there, tutorials. We have a nice cheat sheet. We have information about the Truffle console. So that's in the set up your local environment doc. And that could be nice if you are using Truffle and you're familiar with it. It's a nice little command line that you can use to create flows and do things right there. And then we have a network directory, which is very handy for seeing all of the deployed contracts on the test nets. And then we have our Discord channel, like I was saying before. There is, of course, the Devfolio channel with the Superfluid, there's a Devfolio server with the Superfluid channel. And then there's also our Discord server, which we'll have a link to as well, or you can click this right here and go to it. And if you tag us at Superfluid, then we'll hopefully be able to respond to your questions. And then we also, post there updates and events. So for instance, we have the EtherPunk hackathon that we're doing now. And then we also have ETH Denver coming up as well, where we'll have additional prizes. Okay, so like I said, we're going to deploy a new super app, and it's going to be a Holy Grail. And the Holy Grail is an NFT, an ERC 721 non-fungible token. And the owner is going to receive the benefits. So whoever holds the Holy Grail is going to receive the benefits of it. And that's going to be in the form of a stream of DAI, so a stream of money. And we are going to use the dashboard that we were on earlier to kind of visualize some of that stuff. So we're not going to be needing to build a front end for this example. Okay, so right now, please go to this link, remix.ethereum.org, and that is going to set you up with all the contracts that you need for the example. Some key things to keep in mind: we're going to use injected Web3 environment, and then I have the contract addresses here that you might need for this example. These are also in the docs, like I said, in the network directory. And then going to the dashboard, we did that earlier, right? So that we could get some of the tests early, so that our account is seeded already with some test ether. Otherwise, we won't be able to call these functions. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that you guys can see at home. Whoa, all right. Okay, so we're going to open gists. We're going to open the gist that I provided, and we're going to go to tradable cash flow. Actually, it was already open. And here we are importing some contracts, and the contract that we're deploying today is an ERC 721, and it also supports this redirect all contract. And in that one is where we have kind of our Superfluid stuff. We're setting up our super app here, and then we have things like current receiver, like who's receiving funds, et cetera, et cetera. So we can go into that if we have time more in depth. So I want you to go to the compiler tab and go ahead and hit compile on that. And that's going to pull in a lot of contracts from GitHub and compile it. There we go. And now in the deploy and run transactions tab, we are going to switch to injected Web3 environment. And we see that our account 0x3CD, let's just make sure real quick, that's the same one that we're seeing in MetaMask. Let's connect. That's not the same one, so let's see what's going on. The connection between apps and MetaMask is a little wonky these days, so just want to make sure you know which account that you're on. All right, so I need to disconnect some of these. And let's switch away and then reconnect and see if that fixes it. Huh. So I'm trying to use a fresh account here, and that might be why it's giving me a little bit of problems. Oh, no, that's right. A5CD. Okay, good. So we're on the right account. I'm using account 3. That's what it's called for me. And then we're going to go down here to tradable cash flow. We're going to select that contract. And we have some arguments that we need to provide when we deploy this. And so the first argument is owner, and that's just going to be us. Let's make that us. So we'll copy our address here, this little button next to account. You can copy that and get our address, or you can get it from MetaMask. We're going to name our NFT, and we'll call it Holy Grail. And the symbol, you know, this doesn't matter. You can make up these two things. We'll just say the symbol is Grail. And then from the presentation, I have the host contract listed there. Again, you can get that from the network directory. I have the CFA contract, which you can get from the presentation or the network directory, I think. And then the token, the accepted token that we're going to be using today is the DIX or FDIX. And so this is our token that we had in our dashboard, right, that we deposited. It has a new address. This is no longer the DAI address. This is the address for the super token version of DAI. And so it gets a new address because we've now wrapped it. It's become a different token. All right, so now we are ready to deploy. Cross your fingers. Okay, so there's no errors showing here. Everything looks good. Since we're on testnet, I'm not really going to check, you know, what's going on because this is, you know, fake money that we're working with. Okay, creation of tradable cash flow pending. We have a nice little link there to Etherscan, so we can go check that out. Great. MetaMask is telling me that it's been deployed. This is telling me that it's worked. We get a screen success. Okay, things are working. Now, if we scroll down, we'll see that we have a deployed contract now. Tradable cash flow at, and then a little bit of an address here. If we scroll over, because it's a long name, we can get this copy button. And that will copy the address of our new contract. So go ahead and copy that. You can also see, you know, in the Remix IDE, there's this like nice little debug feature. And then if you expand it, you get more details about the transaction that was processed. And I believe the address of the contract should be in the logs somewhere here. DF, yeah, 860. It's actually this first one right here. Okay, so we have our new contract. Let's expand it so that we can see all the functions that we have available. So this is our super app. So we just deployed a super app. And this super app is, again, our Holy Grail contract. So we call the name, we see, yes, it's Holy Grail. If we call the symbol Grail, that's correct. And let's call balance of, let's copy our address. Sorry, I'm making you copy different ones. All right, let's call balance of and pass it in there. Boom, we see we have one token. And if we look in the contract, yep, there on line 35, we're calling mint owner, which was us, and we're just calling one. So we're minting ourselves one NFT. And if you look through the contracts, there's no other mint functions in the contract. So there's no other times where we're minting more. Total supply should always be one and will never increase. Okay. Now let's see who the current receiver is of the Holy Grail streams. So if we call current receiver, we see receiver is AC5D. Yep, that's our address. And flow rate is 0. Okay. So nobody's streaming to the NFT yet. Nobody's sending funds. I'm not receiving anything yet. So let's start that. Let's get some funds flowing. So we are going to, before we switch to the app, we're going to copy that contract address again. Okay, so make sure you got that. Make sure whatever contract you deployed, make sure you get this address. And let's hop over to our app. And we are going to create a new stream by hitting the send button. We're going to paste in the address for our NFT that we minted. This is the Holy Grail super app. We're going to use DAI. And we're going to send all of our DAI. So we're going to send 1,000 per day. So this Holy Grail is only going to last for one day. Hopefully, it can go on forever. But that would require more people sending money to it. So what we're doing now is we're setting up a stream and we're starting to flow money to our super app. And we're doing this in a single interaction. And once we set it up, it's just going to start flowing. And it's not going to stop until we run out of funds. And we don't have to call any additional transactions. We don't have to do anything extra. Other than maybe stop streaming if we wanted to stop streaming. But if we don't, then we can just let it continue. Okay, so that's confirmed. And shortly we'll see, oh, we have 2 streams appear in our dashboard. So we have one that's a negative, so it's decreasing in value. And we have one that's positive, it's increasing in value. And they're both either from or to the same address. So what's going on, right? So remember that current receiver is ourself. And if we see now there is actually a value here in flow rate. All right, so we sent a stream to our super app. And what that did is that turned around and sent it back to us because we're the current owner of the NFT. Remember, our balance is 1. So we have that one Holy Grail. We're in possession of it. Okay, now at this point, you're saying like, all right, so we have a stream going out, we have a stream coming in. They look kind of about the same. These numbers should essentially be the same. But you see that our balance up here is definitely a lot less than 1,000, right? So if we're just streaming, 1,000 per day, we have actually a little bit of a deposit here, a refundable deposit that helps with closing and opening streams. So if you're curious about that, you can read more in the docs or come ask us about the deposit. You can get that back if you close a stream, etc. So if this number confuses you, don't worry. It's the streams that we want to pay attention to. And we can see, if we click on it, we can see the per month amount, although we set it to per day, right? And then we can see per second. And this per second should match, other than a little bit of decimals placement, it should match the same number that we're seeing in our dashboard, or sorry, in the Remix app, which it does, 1157. Those were the first 3 numbers, 1157. Okay, so now what do we do? So now we are ready to transfer the Holy Grail to another account. So when that happens, our stream should move automatically with the Grail. So let's switch to a fresh account. And we will connect it to the dashboard, and it's going to refresh and do our whole little welcome message again. We're going to connect our wallet with our fresh account. And this is who we are going to send that Holy Grail to. We're going to give it to this other account, and we'll see that our streams are changed. And we can claim the tokens. But if we go to the dashboard, we see that we have no streams because this is a brand new account. It's never interacted with Superfluid before. And so what we'll do is we'll copy the address for this fresh account, 9FF3, and we will go over here. We're still on the creators account, and we're going to call transfer from. Nope, where is it? Yeah, safe transfer from. Okay, so we are going to we're going to transfer the Holy Grail to that account that we just copied, 9FF3. The account that we're transferring it from is our own account. So we can come up here and copy our address. And the token ID is just 1 because we only minted 1 token. There's only 1 Holy Grail. We're going to call that failed. What's going on? Maybe because we're on the wrong account? All right, let's try again. Caller is not owner nor approved. Am I calling? Oh, sorry. I was clicking safe transfer from. We want to do transfer from. I apologize. I thought that's what I was using, but I think the UI is a little buggy here. What? Is this the right address? A5C? No, that's not even the right. Okay. These are all wrong. Let me reset. Okay, so let's start over. We have the address of our current account. This is the one that owns the Holy Grail right now. That is who we're transferring from. And then we are going to transfer to our fresh account. We don't care about connecting it to Remix because we're just Yep, and then we're going to call token ID 1. What the heck is going on? Transfer caller is not owner nor approved. Okay, for some reason, Remix is not copying the right address when I'm doing this. So I'm actually going to come down here. It's calling it from that address. That's weird. Add custom token to MetaMask and use that. Okay. That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. All right, so if we go to, it's an NFT, so I don't know if this is going to work, but we can try to use MetaMask to transfer the token. Okay, so from account 3, which is the one who has the Holy Grail, we're going to come down to assets. We're going to add token and custom token, put in the contract address. Yep, it's already got that loaded. Okay. Count 3 has 0 Grail. Was I on the wrong account when I did this? Let's try again. Yeah, I was. Okay, so I was connected to the wrong account. I apologize. The owner of the Holy Grail is 3CET, right? But the owner, the one who can perform the transfer function, is incorrect. So I apologize. Let's change. Okay, so the receiver is currently this person. We get that from the current receiver. And the person we're transferring it to is our new account. And we need to connect to the owner, which I put in the wrong one here. Let's switch to the owner's account. Yep. A8F. Let's disconnect this account. Let's reconnect to injected Web3. Okay. We have to get our contract address again. This is another reason why I should, stick with the basics. Oh, I'm sorry. I was on the wrong tab. That's what was happening. Okay. I have 2 of these open. I apologize. Whew. Let's get rid of that one so we don't get confused again. All right. Current receiver. That's our account 3. So we'll connect. No, account 3. We'll connect account 3, and then we can transfer this. Give this Holy Grail away. Okay, we don't want it anymore. We want to give it to our friend. All right. Yep. Okay. Now let's try this again. Transfer from. We're going to transfer it from ourselves. This is what I get for doing the demo, for practicing, right? No. So we just had that other tab open. And then we'll get the address for account 4. That's who we want to send it to. We don't care about connecting. We're just going to copy that. And we're going to cross your fingers. Yep, there we go. Yay. Okay, so we can finally give the Holy Grail away. That was way too hard. Okay, so now let's jump back over to our Superfluid dashboard. Because we switched accounts, we're having to sort of reconnect here. In our first account that we used, we should see in account 3, we should see that now the recipient for the Holy Grail should have an incoming stream. And it should pop up here in a second or two. So what did we do? So we deployed a super app. We minted an NFT as part of the deployment. And then now any streams that are sent to the super app automatically get sent to whoever is holding the NFT. So if I transfer the NFT to somebody else, then they're going to receive ED6. Okay. I don't know why. Who is ED6? Is that account 5? Yeah. So that's weird. I must have transferred it to account 5 on accident. Okay, so we'll connect to the dashboard with account 5. And there we go. We got an incoming stream. So this is our fresh account. This is the one we just transferred the Holy Grail to, and boom, we got our streams. So that's the example. The two contracts that we were working with today are the tradable cash flow and redirect all. And this is a very simple implementation of a super app. The meat of the function is change receiver, which changes the flow for who should be receiving all the streams that are coming into the app. And then we have the callbacks, which allow us to perform these functions when certain things happen. And pretty much what happens is anytime a new stream is created, after agreement created, we are going to update the flow. And same for when agreements are updated. So these are our callbacks. Like when I was talking about ERC 777, those are callbacks for a token, and these are callbacks for super apps specifically. And so these get triggered when certain things happen. So when we opened up that new stream, it opened up a stream right back to us. And when we transferred the token, the NFT, the Holy Grail, then it changed where the streams are flowing. And so that's the meat of the super app. There's some other functions in here that deal with just basically setting up the logic for using super apps. But you could totally take this example and build a submission off of this, modifying it and adding a couple things, and submit that for the bounty. Okay, so that's it. I think we can open it up to questions now. We have about 15 minutes left. If there's any questions, or I can dive into certain parts of this. I cannot see the chat if anybody has posted questions yet. I don't know if Denver or Fran or Mia, if you guys can see those.
Yeah, so the questions are in the Q&A button. It's a special button, not the chat one, but I'll maybe go out and answer. So Keshaf Mundra is asking us, if I mint a new NFT, will the stream be divided into two different accounts?
If you mint a new NFT? Oh, I see. So in this example, we are only minting a single NFT. And by that, I mean, for this contract, we are only minting one. So there's only one Holy Grail. You could totally modify this and mint as many NFTs as you want, and you could split them. Yeah, you could totally do that. That would be a little more complicated, but it's definitely possible. And then I guess another question is also, how do I stop a stream from my account? Okay, so to stop a stream, if you have a stream coming in to your account, you can cancel it. And then also if you are sending a stream, you can cancel it. And you can do that using the dashboard here. I am no longer the owner of NFT. So if you transfer the NFT away, then the stream, like that's another way you could stop it. So this account could give the NFT to someone else and they would no longer be receiving the stream. Are there any other questions? I can see the question Q&A tab now. No, no other questions. Okay, well, what else should we talk about?
So another thing that this application does is that if more than one person sends a stream to the NFT, it will sum all of the incoming streams into one outgoing stream. So if any of you guys manage to go through this tutorial, if you want to send your NFT addresses in the chat, I will send you also a stream. And there's more questions if you want to answer them in the Q&A, Pat.
Okay, great. Can we input an ENS address? Yes, you can. In the send button here, there is option, like I could type in fran.eth, and that will certainly work. The thing is that you have to be careful about is that this must be registered on Goerli ENS, because we're in a testnet environment here. So you would have to go to ENS domains and register it on Goerli for that to work. But yes, it does work. All right, so potential use cases for streaming and reward distribution. So the first one that comes to my mind, and Fran, I'll let you jump in here as well, is for streaming for services. So if you have an app that you want to, or let's say a subscription, right? You can provide that subscription to people who are streaming to you. So if your subscription costs $10 a month, right, you can check, and whenever you want to publish something, you can say, hey, has this person been streaming to me for at least a month, or are they set up to stream to me for $10 a month or 10 DAI a month? And then you can say yes or no, and then publish whatever you want to, whatever your content is to that person, or give them access to your app. For rewards distribution, my favorite example is if I am in a DAO or some organization, some group of people, and I want to give tokens to people for participation, I can set that up so that I go in and I create, and we didn't discuss reward distribution in this example, we just did streaming. But you can see the docs for more information on that. So you would essentially just give people shares in proportion to their contribution that you've determined, and then call the function to distribute funds proportionally to all of those shares. And Fran, did you have any other apps ideas that you liked?
Yeah, sure. So I'll give you a couple of examples from previous hackathon we sponsored. So one example was renting NFTs. So, you know, you have these metaverse digital worlds like Decentraland and CryptoVoxels. So this application was able to basically rent the land. So instead of buying it, you could rent it for a period and then give it back afterwards. So in general, I'd say streams are good for anything where you have a recurring payment. So obviously, like Patrick mentioned, subscriptions, but also things like renting stuff, paying salaries, or even maybe making some kind of financial investment over time. So for example, a lot of people buy Bitcoin once a week. Using Superfluid, you could buy Bitcoin every second, right? So these kinds of recurring transactions are possible using streams.
Yeah, and in the presentation, check out the hack.superfluid.finance. There's plenty of ideas there that you can get for this hackathon or just in general. We can go check that out right now. So we have the ideas billboard. And here we have some examples. And then we have ideas that don't, these are examples of existing things that, are in the repository. We also have ideas that do not have teams yet that no one's built. And then we also have teams looking for members. So if you want to find other people to hack with, you can submit down here using this form, and then you'll be put in this list, and then people can contact you. And then I think it also posts in our Discord as well. It makes a message there so you can get connected. So I think I'm going to try to send another flow to the NFT and have it combine the two. Oh. And then we can hop over and check out the repo a little bit. We can explore some there. We can show you where the examples are. Here we go. There's the approval step, and then now we're going to do the deposit step. Are there any other questions? How is it happening?
Yeah.
How is it happening behind the scenes without gas fee? Well, the simple answer is that there is a flow rate and a start time. And at any point when someone wants to, say, perform a withdrawal or change their streams, we can use those two things to calculate what the new balance is. So if a stream started at a certain date and it was at a certain rate, then we know based on the timestamp now of the current block, what the actual value should be at this time. And so later when we go to change something is when we can perform this look back and say, okay, here's the new value. That's the simple answer. And yeah, if you want to chime in.
That's fine. I think that's fine. The answer is good. I could just, my favorite way of looking at it from a slightly deeper technical point of view is that think of a blockchain. Usually you would transfer value by transfer a certain amount from account A to account B. So each time you want to transfer something, you have to create a transaction that moves assets from account A to account B. But what we are doing is just different, is that all you need to settled on the blockchain is saying that from A to B, there is a flow ongoing at certain flow rate. Once that we call it agreement. Once that agreement is settled on blockchain, then then the flow, then the value basically flows without further intervention, the gas, without using gas anymore, until you want to change something, do a new agreement or something, or cancel the agreement. In this particular example, moving the NFT from one place to the other, right, and drag the flow along with it. So that's my kind of slightly technical answer, but yeah, intuitively, Patrick already explained it. Yeah.
All right, let's see if this worked. So we should be getting double the flow rate now for the Holy Grail holder. Ooh, we were getting 30,000 per month. Now we're getting 60,000 per month. Yay. And we see that the flow rate per second is now increased as well. Or we already got 12 DAI in the time of this presentation. Okay, so let's hop on over to the repo real quick in the last 2 minutes. And just so you can get acquainted, if you're going to be copying this example, this is a good place to look for how the protocol works. There's also the docs, but basically we have Superfluid-Finance is the organization name, and then the name of the repo that you're going to be interested in is protocol monorepo. And we have our 2 packages here, the JS SDK and the Ethereum contracts package. And then we also have examples. So you can click this link and see the wonderful examples that we have here. Some of these have front ends, some of them do not. The SDK is what you'll be using if you're trying to close an open stream, say in a front end that you are building. And Ethereum contracts is where you can get more information about the contracts. You can see all of them and run tests and do all sorts of fun stuff. So with that, I want to thank you guys for joining. This blockchain stuff is hard, but you can do it. Don't give up. Come ask us questions. If you can, stick in Remix. It's a great place to learn and build. And don't fall for phishing scams. So be careful with your funds as you go forward. So we hope that you guys will build some awesome super apps. And we're looking forward to seeing what you guys can come up with. Appreciate it, and thanks for watching.
Thanks a lot, Patrick, for that overview, and yeah, really looking forward to some interesting things being built, because it seems like the idea of streaming money is one of the most far out things there. Certainly not possible with CeFi or anything like that. And really excited to see the kind of applications that are built using it.
Yeah, me too. It's gonna be cool. I'm looking forward to jumping in the chat with people as well.
Sure.
Yeah, Patrick said this already, but really, like, no question is a stupid question. So never kind of give up. Just join our chat if you ever hit an error message that doesn't make sense, and we'll find a solution for you. We've, we have experience. We've all been through it. Me and Patrick have hacked together at a few hackathons, and you always kind of want to build more than you can. So like you said, stick with simple things first, and then you're always in time to add more features at the end. So yeah, looking forward to see everybody's submissions.
Yeah, and if you did this example too, let us know what your experience was. I see some people were able to in the chat to get through some of it. So yeah, let us know how it went.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so for everything else, I think the Superfluid team is on Discord. You can catch them on the EtherPunk Discord. There's a link to their own Discord as well. And we'll be putting up all of this, these links in the YouTube recording, and be putting it across very soon. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, hope to see some cool things being built again. Yeah. Thanks, Patrick. Thanks, Francesco, and
Thank you,
the rest of
Denver.
the team for joining in.
Thank you.
Nice. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Bye.
Cheers. Cheers
Bye.
from Cold Estonia.